We're going to jump into Oklahoma State, TCU, which on any other big week would be huge because we don't know a lot about the Oklahoma State Cowboys even today. I'm Mike Sherman, and you're joining us. If you are joining us right now, it's the Football Friday Hangout on News OK, here with OSU beat writer Gina, Mizell, columnist Jenni Carlson, OU beat writer Jason Kersey, and columnist Berry Tramel. Let's talk about OSU. And I think I gave this question away, Gina, but are we there yet? Are we there yet when we know anything substantial about the Cowboys?
Well, I thought we knew a little bit more after the Iowa State game before the bombshell was dropped about J.W. Walsh's injury. So, if Wes Lunt returns, this week against TCU, then we might start to see what this team, would have looked like at the start of the season if Lunt hadn't gotten hurt. But obviously the wide receiving core is still banged up. Jeremy Smith is still banged up. So it's just these injuries and just other circumstances just haven't really allowed us to even see, this complete Oklahoma State team. And I think even if Lunt was going to be back this week anyway, the whole package with Walsh and how he was going to be involved in the offense before he had to be the starting quarterback, we're now never going to see that. So I think we're never going to see completely what this offense was supposed to be and supposed to look like. And so, obviously the defensive performance against Iowa State was very, very good last week, but Iowa State has a struggling offense. So this week's going to be a much stiffer test. And as we go into this stretch run of the season with TCU and then obviously K-State, West Virginia, Texas Tech, OU, and Baylor to end the season, this is where we're really going to figure out where this Oklahoma State team is as far as in the Big 12 pecking order.
Jenni, what are we going to know from Saturday?
Well, I think we're going to have a little bit better idea of where Oklahoma State is. The evidence is definitely more heavily leaning towards a team that's only marginally good. If you look at the losses, the close call at Kansas, there's a lot more of those games than what we saw last week against Iowa State. But if you start to link some of these better performances together, I think that is a good sign for the Cowboys. TCU is not among the elite in this conference. As Gina mentioned, that stretch of 4 games afterwards is really the test for Oklahoma State. But they do have a really solid defense, especially against the run. And with Oklahoma State a little up in the air offensively at quarterback, I think if you go out and play well, heck, if we see a similar type of game that we saw a week ago against Iowa State, to me, that's a really positive sign for Oklahoma State. If they could limit TCU and win by, double digits, I think that's a really positive step for Oklahoma State moving forward.
Hey, Berry, what do you make of the discrepancy between Mike Gundy and J.W. Walsh's dad's sort of recovery time for J.W.? Gundy said it's a season-ending injury. Walsh's dad seemed to say, well, if you did the math, there seems to be some room at the end of the season for him to play, but they seem pretty close. Is this a little much ado about nothing, or is there something there?
Yeah, I think it's probably just some fudging on both ends. It's pretty clear. I think J.W. could come back and play, especially in the bowl game. But I think Mike Gundy's message is, you know what, J.W. was excellent. We need him, but now he's hurt. And if we'll go back to Wes Lunt. We were probably going back to Wes Lunt anyway. 3 to 5 weeks. If it's 5 weeks, as J.W. Walsh dad said, well, 5 weeks gets them through the through most of November, and they're looking at Bedlam anyway. So, we're nearing the end of the season at that point anyway. So some of it's semantics, and I don't put much stock in either one, really, frankly. Here, if J.W. Walsh came out and quarterbacked the Cowboys on this Saturday, I would only be about 98% surprised.
What do we make or take from all these injuries that the Cowboys have had, Gina? Is there any trend to spot in the number of injuries, or should all the focus be on the impact and its impact on this season?
I guess the only real trend would be that, Walsh and Lunt both suffered knee injuries, but, they were kind of on different types of plays where their knee kind of just got bent